Lady Cop called the police station on her radio. She said, "I have an interesting case here. A woman has just shot her husband for walking across the floor that she just mopped." Police dispatch replied, "Have you arrested the woman yet?" And Lady Cop said, "No, because the floor's still wet." Welcome to Lassoed Loot Volume 284. I have an all DC Comics haul to share with you today. Welcome. Marvel Comics fans, don't think that I've given up on Marvel. You'll see some X-Men, some Fantastic Four, and other Make Mine Marvel titles in future Lassoed Loot video, but today we're devoting it to DC. By the way, my current back issue of the week is doing quite well. It has 1.1k views as of this recording. It spotlights Teen Titans. It's the Teen Titans spotlight on Aqualad. Who knew that Aqualad was so popular? Thank you so much for checking out this short, and if you haven't yet, I hope you'll get the opportunity to do so. I certainly do appreciate your views and support on my back issue of the week. Today it's time to get started on Lassoed Loot Volume 284. This was an oversight that I should have included in my Lassoed Loot Volume 282 video where I was showing some birthday gifts that I received. My friend Brian gave this to me, and I just had forgotten to include it in the video, so I wanted to correct that oversight. It's an amazing DC Comics Hallmark drinking glass. This is a brand new release featuring vintage artwork. So of course we got Superman, we have Batman, you complete the Trinity with Wonder Woman, and what I think makes this pretty awesome is Aquaman is on the glass as well. This has kind of gotten me thinking, you know, when they put together the Super Friends, the core four members of the Super Friends, it makes sense to do the Trinity. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, the three most recognizable superhero properties for DC. But that fourth, how did they decide on Aquaman? I have a theory that they thought, well, with water, there would be more adventures in water, and that would give them more of an opportunity to use that character, as opposed to maybe the Flash or Green Lantern. I wonder who the runner-up alternatives could have been for that fourth position as a super friend. But Brian, thank you so much for this amazing Hallmark drinking glass. I had been looking for this at my local Hallmark here in the area without luck. So either they had it and they sold it right away, or they never got it. And Brian and I are so in sync, he knew exactly that I would want this glass, and it fits my taste to a T. So cheers to you, Brian. Thank you so much. I want to jump into an A-OK that I received from my friend Sam. He was so kind to gift me the Absolute Wonder Woman issue 16 second print with this awesome Mark Brooks cover. It was such a great cover, I was almost surprised a little bit that they chose this for a second print, because this easily could have been a main first print variant cover. We have Absolute Zatanna portrayed on this. I've been enjoying the story, as most folks are. Of course, this came out earlier this year in 2026. Suicide Squad, this version consists of Wonder Woman's nemesis like Cheetah, Giganta, Dr. Poison, and the Absolute Zatanna. I myself started trying to keep up with all of the different covers and couldn't keep up with all of the different covers that they've released. And the completist in me actually did let it go. And I'm doing pretty good just picking up usually the main A cover. And once in a blue moon, if there's a special cover that really speaks to me, I'll get that too. Sam is such a great friend to me. I enjoy all the times we get to spend together. And usually he's A-OKing me lunch. He A-OKs me lunch all the time. But this time he had a comic book for me as well, which I certainly do appreciate, because Absolute Zatanna is awesome. I did read the new regular Zatanna issue 1 comic book, which was okay. And I'll give it some props for being a little bit different than what they've done with the character in the past. But if that title had been an Absolute Zatanna #1 as an ongoing series, I think that would have made it onto my pull list. But thank you, Sam, for thinking of me. You perfectly knew what I wanted and would enjoy, which is this beautiful Absolute Zatanna cover on the Absolute Wonder Woman issue 16. This story arc that they've done with Veronica Cale unleashing her version of the Suicide Squad has been my favorite out of everything they've done so far. I really like the last storyline with the Labyrinth, but this storyline I like even better. Let's do some happy birthday to me from me comic books, and we'll start out with Adventure Comics issue 428. I have wanted this one for quite some time. It was released in 1973. Bob Oksner did the cover, and Sheldon Mayer was the writer. It's the first appearance of Black Orchid. Now, in Lassoed Loot Volume 280, I showed you that I completed my Supergirl as a headliner for Adventure Comics, and when I finished that up, I really wanted to move on and get these Black Orchid issues into my collection. She was the first superhero to debut as a cover feature on Adventure Comics since Starman did it in 1941. I think that's kind of a cool fact. I haven't read the story yet, but the description says, the mysterious new superhero Black Orchid saves District Attorney Ken Ransom from hitmen and then helps get evidence on the crooked politician that killed his brother. This is a birthday book for me as well, so that's another reason why I wanted to have this in the collection. There's a backup story with Dr. Terrance 13. He investigates the death of a man who was frightened to death after putting on his glasses. Sounds intriguing. This lot also included Black Orchid's second appearance from Adventure Comics issue number 429. This is a pirate issue. So this modern-day pirate challenges the Black Orchid to stop his upcoming jobs and then tries to discover her secret identity. I myself could not remember what her secret identity was, so I had to look it up. It's Susan Linden, and even hearing that did not ring any bells for me. I remember Black Orchid the most from her appearance in a Super Friends comic book that I had as a child. I think it was Super Friends issue number 31. Then we stay with this pirate theme because the backup story features Captain Fear. It's a pirate story with Captain Fear, which actually ends on a cliffhanger that they don't resolve until issue 432, but by that time, Black Orchid is not the headliner in Adventure Comics, it's the Spectre instead. Then my friend Andre also gifted me a Black Orchid Funko keychain that I had no idea ever existed. I think it was a Brazilian exclusive. You can see when he gifted that to me in my Comic Book Editions Volume 218 video. And the final one to complete this 3-issue lot is issue 430. So now that I have all 3 issues, don't you think that Fanboys Live and the Retro Review might be the best place for me to read these? I haven't even taken them out of the bags and boards and even paged through them yet. In this story, the synopsis says that Black Orchid puts pressure on a loan shark to repay extorted money to his marks. Apparently, this story takes place months after the other stories in the previous 2 issues do. We don't see Black Orchid again until 1974, when she shows up in Phantom Stranger issue 31 in a backup feature. And I had forgotten that she had made appearances in those backup features, and I guess she's in as backup features in issue 31, 32, 35, 38, 39, but I think it might be a different Black Orchid. I'm not for sure. If you know the answer to that, make sure to leave me that answer in the questions below. The Adventurers Club is the backup story for this issue, and I'll just give you the title of the story because I think it says it all. Wick Walk, Wick Walk. Here's a book that we have reviewed on Fanboys Live and the Retro Review in the past, pretty famously, I might add. I had to get a first issue special, number 4 from 1975, into my collection. So Dick Giordano does the cover, Robert Kanigher was the writer, and John Rosenberger, interior artist. I think the CLZ description for what happens in this issue is the best, so I'll read that to you in verbatim. Warner joins the police force after witnessing her roommate being killed. Her adventures include stopping a sexual assault, counseling a girl that has VD, and buying kids ice cream. It was on our January 21st, 2024 Fanboys Live, which if you've never watched that, I think is one of the funniest, if not the funniest and best episode we've ever done. So check that out for a full recap of this comic book. I think I first became aware of this comic book when it was on Comicgories. Remember that, the comic book game show? I think Bear Island had it, and had it on standby to play. And I know that Lady Cop had been shown a couple times on Comicgories. I do remember that, and it's the first time I ever kind of became aware of the comic book. This comic book is now the very first book in my collection, because when you open up the DC long boxes, it used to start with 52. Now it starts with 1 for first issue special. And let's show you one more book before we wrap it up today, a little bit more modern. Justice League of America, Volume 3, Issue 42, released in 2018. I am a sucker for Wonder Woman in peril covers, and that's exactly what we get. It's kind of an okay cover. I didn't notice it until my friend Steven pointed it out, but what's with the eyes? That the way that David drew both Superman and Wonder Woman's eyes, they almost look like kind of like vampire-ish. Wonder Woman, surprisingly, isn't in this story a whole lot. You know, she's shot and she gets taken to get medical attention while the rest of the Justice League deals with Red Lion's plans, which are starting to unfold. Plus a big chunk of the story is devoted to Cyborg, who is trapped in a cell with Deathstroke. Christopher Priest was the writer of this, and Pete Woods did the interior art. So there we go to wrap up an all DC haul for Lassoed Loot Volume 284. Do you have any of these books in your collection? Are you searching for any? Leave me a comment and let me know. We had a great time on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review this past weekend. We had Daryl Young Designs on. I hope you can catch that on the rewind if you didn't get a chance to see it. Fanboys Live in the Retro Review will be back this upcoming Sunday, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central, the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. So in the future, what I kind of want to do, this is just what's milling around. I kind of want to do another upgrades video. I've been saying that for a while. I did one last year and I had fun with that. I want to do another upgrades. I want to show some of the trades that are in my collection. DC and Marvel, some Omni, some other formats as well. Ruby G, White Tiger, Cool Kong Collected, has sent a belated birthday gift. So I guess I'm not done celebrating my birthday, and that will be shown on a future Lassoed Loot video as well. So that's what you have to look forward to. Thank you for making it to the end of this video of Lassoed Loot 284, catching this week's comic book treasures. I'll see you again soon.